every time we tried, we just could not get this thing to go. This could have been corrected, but the ultrasound is still smallest. So then we basically.
So when your device failed, what did you do?
So my sort of stepwise, if you think about it, your choices are cystotome, a needle knife, but the problem with the needle knife is that this is the cystotome is over the wire, so it's going to cut over the wire. A needle knife will cut parallel to the wire, so that theoretically you may get a cut alongside the wires, but when you advance your device over the wire, you may still have a rim of tissue in between, which may make it hard to go. Or you can try a dilation balloon to go over the wire.
And that's usually the hurricane.
Hurricane, because the 4 millimeter hurricane is the thinnest. A brand new 4 millimeter hurricane is the thinnest sort of balloon that you have for a biliary wire. And then the fourth would be a cautery device, a Sohindra stent retriever. So those things were all in my mind, but generally you don't want to be overly traumatic either. So we went with the 2 cystotomes, and when that failed, I went with the needle knife, recognizing that it's a parallel track. But that wouldn't go either. And then I was like, there's something wrong with this cautery. I don't know what's going on. So then I said, well, we've done this a few times. And then we switched to the... by the way, this is the so then we tested out the cautery outside, and it worked. So we went back with it, and here you can see there's all this like artifact from the current forming, but it never went through. So then at that point we just switched to the hurricane. And once we went, the hurricane just went right through. And as I said earlier, when these things happen, what can happen is you can get separation between the gastric wall and the cyst collection. So here you can start leaking air out into the peritoneal space. You just have to be mindful of that. So we basically then switched out to the balloon, and once we got the balloon in, I also wanted to secure 2 wires in there, and the way you do that is you basically put this is your wire, you put a bigger catheter that'll go in easily. So in this case we tried this is the hurricane. The hurricane went right. So you can see the trauma from our attempt, right? That's where I was worried about the leakage. But then you basically put a 7 French or a 10 French pusher over the wire. So you have a wire, you have a bigger catheter, you go into the cavity. Once you know your pusher's in there, now you can put a second wire down. So you have 2 wires inside, and you back off your pusher. So you have 2 wires now. In case one of your stent deployments doesn't go well, then you can at least salvage the situation with 1 wire.
Okay, sometimes it's not very easy even to put, despite larger dilatation.
Yes.
So if you do 8 mm or 10 mm, even then the pusher, sometimes it's because it's stiff. And
it's blunt.
Yeah,
it's blunt at the tip.
So sometimes it becomes difficult. So I just put it just where the actual opening is, and then just pass the wire.
That's exactly what happened to us. So here, I think this is that we were up to it, but we couldn't get it to go through. But then the wire took the hole and went right through and looped inside. So then it was just a matter of putting in stents. And fortunately that worked out smoothly. So that's the 7/4 double pigtails going in. And obviously for proximal deployment, you have to back away your scope so your pigtail doesn't go in all the way. And then that's the first one, and then the second one. So would the labs have been quicker? Yes. But the job got done, and the cost issue is a real issue. So
this is before we started doing EUS. It was quite a while ago. We're putting stents, and one of the stents migrated into the cystic space. So we'd already dilated, so put a scope in and we pulled it out through the cystic space. But you have to keep the buffer somewhere very close in case, you know, you have any issues. Generally, we don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Once you place this first stent, second stent is not a problem at all. But the cyst is big, and the rasa agar if you're relaxed, then there is a chance that you might get. If you do, then I don't think nowadays it's a big problem to dilate. So you can go and remove it yourself.
Or you can leave it, it's fine.
Or you can leave it as well as a dead space, like, you know. As long as you've got one stent out, you don't have any drainage going in, you leave a stent there.
That's
Especially in ours, then you're likely to get very bad infection, which will be difficult to treat. So I think that personally, I feel that it's best to just go in and take it out. Now you have pediatric scope, so you can take it out. Imagine like